What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. We've got basically a full day of news, not just everything that happened yesterday and that unpleasantness and sadness, but also there was a new university professor that had some heinous things to say. We've got the U.S. government sneaking some Patriot Act type stuff into the TikTok legislation that everyone really needs to know about. So if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. Make sure you turn notifications on. We've got a lot to talk about today. Now, the big news out of obviously yesterday, I'm going to cover the kind of 2 or 3 main tenets, but obviously you'll know YouTube won't like these. So, consider picking up some coffee brand coffee. The big news out of yesterday is everything that happened and the fallout thereafter. And I think while the fallout is important, it's also kind of a trap where a lot of people end up endlessly discussing impossible solutions to a 1 in a million scenario type thing that keeps happening. But a lot of people will come out and they'll speak their party lines and they'll talk about the exact same things that people always do, and talk about not focusing on the absolute loser that is no longer with us anymore. And I think that that's important. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to the officers involved. We're going to take a look at some footage, or at least discuss the footage that was released this morning. They acted quickly, bravely, with precision, and saved many lives. It was an adrenaline-filled, adrenaline-pumping, 3-minute montage of camera footage that really made me proud of these individuals, even though I don't really know them. Last night, it was revealed that there was we know that there is a quote-unquote manifesto somewhere. I don't know if we're ever going to see that. I certainly hope it gets released today. It's kind of the last piece of the puzzle, so everyone can kind of put it together and then move forward and look for its solutions. But there was some direct messages sent on Instagram literally minutes before the event. At 9:57 a.m., a former middle school basketball teammate of the loser looked at her phone to find a message from her on Instagram. Averinia Patton said that she saw the message that the loser planned to not survive the day and that Patton would see it on the news. In the message, Patton provided to News Channel 5. This is a local Nashville news source. It's reputable from my contacts in the area, so these messages appear to be real. In the messages she would provide, the loser told Patton that she would see her again in another life, and that she no longer wanted to live. And here you see the actual messages. So basically, that post I made on here about you, that was basically a termination note. Now, I don't know what that post is. I'm eager to see if that post exists somewhere. I'm planning to, pass away today. This is not a joke in all caps. You'll probably hear about me on the news. This is my last goodbye. I love you. See you again in another life. Signed Audrey, parentheses, Aiden. A lot of people are like, why did they send it that way? Well, they did. The person replied, Audrey, you have so much more. I'm sorry, loser, you have so much more in life to live for. I pray God keeps and covers you. I know, but I don't want to live, so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to upset you or get attention. I just need to pass away. I wanted to tell you first because you are the most beautiful person I've ever seen and known all my life. Simping into the afterlife here. A lot of people said, we're critical of her friend, the loser's friend's reaction. I think it's difficult because if you've dealt with anybody who has mental health issues, I have. I've had viewers email me this, this kind of stuff. I've had people close to me who will kind of say this kind of stuff endlessly, so it gets harder and harder to take them seriously. People are like, why didn't they call the cops? Who knows how many times this person said something similar in the past, and desensitize the person to the reaction. At no point in this video, in these messages, they indicate that they're going to go do something crazy, or take anyone else with them. But they continue. This is one day this will make more sense. I've left behind more evidence, more than enough evidence behind. Something bad is about to happen. Now, the friend said that she did call the Nashville Davidson County Sheriff's Office to make them aware of the situation and was instructed to call the non-emergency number. By then, MNPD says it was too late. This message was like literally sent from the parking lot, it looks like. After phone calls from friends and the name was released as the event happened, I learned that the loser was the person that did it. My heart is full of all the families affected. I'm devastated by what happened. Sounds like a good person, honestly. The friend, right? And it's at no point in these messages did this former friend, or did the loser say, "Hey, I'm going to go do something terrible to someone else"? So, I mean, I don't know. The initial message would be curious to see if it alluded to anything else. Perhaps. It's tough to say. Now, PD did say that there was a manifesto left behind and a map used to plan the event. We also know that there was a second location that was passed over due to a threat analysis. They decided that it was too risky, not soft enough target. Well, I think that is certainly what I would expect of a coward, loser, piece of garbage to do. I think the ultimate act, a lot of people will say, of cowardice is, self-deletion. And I would maybe say selfishness. It seems callous to say, but it's just, checking out doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt you. It hurts everyone else around you that cared about you. Hey, if you have chronic pain or something like that, I don't know. The more people like this exist, the more I'm starting to understand why Canada has the systems in place that they do. But, I think this is obviously a deeply disturbed individual, a deeply unstable individual. What is in this manifesto, we may never know. I suspect at the rate at which things are being released, we may see it sooner than later, hopefully today. There are a lot of people suspecting the second location may have been another church or school, or perhaps even the Daily Wire was tossed around. There's a rumor going around about that. I think if I were that other location, I'd like to know that. If there are other locations on this list, I think that would probably be something you'd want to share with the public. As a private citizen, maybe I would avoid that place for a little while. Maybe there are other people. We don't know that she acted alone. We don't know that there weren't other people involved in planning. We don't know that, these are many reasons why you release this. And on top of that, again, huge shout out to the officers involved and the quick dispatch. Certainly lives were saved. So this morning, they released all of the body cam footage. It is heartbreaking at moments because at one point during the footage, you see a small area of a hallway blurred out that is clearly one of the young ones that didn't survive. Really brutal to see. I'm not going to play it in its entirety. I'm not going to play it really at all because I put it out. If you want to watch it, I put it on my Twitter. The full video uncut is on my Twitter. I don't know what YouTube would say about the footage, but I'm going to explain what happens in it for those people that don't want to watch it and just kind of know what happens. So in the footage, you see somebody meet them at the door and hand them keys. Very calm, cool, collected. They gain entry into the building. The entire incident basically was handled in under 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. They get in, they move quickly through every doorway in tactical formation, pushing through, and just the bravery. You can see that they're just obviously scared too. Why wouldn't they be? Imagine walking into a building and you're like, oh, here's a kid laying here. It's wild, and it's one of those things that I don't want to force people to see. I don't think it's really great that people see this all the time. I don't think that it's good for people to consume this level of terribleness on a regular basis. It's just my opinion. And so I shared the footage, but I'm going to break down too what somebody in the military said about it, okay? I don't know if they would want to be public, but they're a fellow YouTuber, and I really enjoy their work. So they said, those Nashville cops are great, but they weren't pushing hesitating officers. They were bumping them to let them know that they had caught up. Because there was a point where you see people get to a doorway, which is really a dangerous spot for somebody. It's a funnel, really, of pain. And it looks like they're kind of pushing them through, but they're really just bumping them to let them know, hey, I'm on your, I got you, go, advance. And they were infantry for 12 years, and this was amazing work, they said. Guy with the best weapon, which was the scoped rifle, kept bounding ahead. In the military, we would have used 80 men to secure the same size objective. 80. This was like 4. In the footage, yeah, I don't feel great showing you. Obviously, you can watch it if you want. But, you see them, they act fast, they push through, they locate the spot where they're at, they turn around a corner, and she's reloading. They happen to come around the corner. Apparently, there's a reload that's happened. There's a quick 2-tap immediately. Suspect goes down. The 3 or 4 officers surround them. Someone with another officer puts a few extra holes in to secure the target, which I completely support. And that's the end of it. And that's exactly what, those cops down in Texas should have done instead of sitting outside for an hour and a half. True bravery. The Nashville PD and these officers, heroic officers, huge shout out. And this is how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to go. And the footage is rough, there's kids there, so I'm glad that they ended it quickly. I'm glad that hopefully after today we don't have to talk about this loser anymore. Families have been torn apart by this, and it's rough. I hope you were informed by this video though, and if you appreciate the coverage, please do subscribe down below and turn notifications on. If you want to support the channel, head on over to coffeebrandcoffee.com. That's my coffee company. We have premium standard roasted fresh on demand. This is not some dropship company. It's my actual company. We have flavored coffee, unflavored coffee, K-Cups, double caffeinated cold brew bags, and so much more. And I would greatly appreciate your support. We'll talk to you again real soon.